KWT slaying.
What if the truth was never lost, only buried? For centuries, historians, scholars, and even colonial records have confirmed what many tried to silence. The original Israelites were a black people scattered across continents but never erased. Their skin was dark, their customs ancient, and their covenant with Yah eternal. This journey uncovers how the Spanish and Portuguese Jews, described as dark-skinned, Semitic, shared one bloodline. Chased by the Inquisition, many fled to Portugal, then beyond, preserving their heritage across borders. But the story doesn't end in Iberia. Across from West Africa, black Jews built synagogues, kept Torah, and passed down the laws of Moses. The Limba in southern Africa, the Igbo in Nigeria, the Beta Israel in Ethiopia. Tribes across the continent boldly declared, "We are the children of Israel." These aren't isolated claims. These are voices rising from the dust, connected by oral histories, Torah traditions, and the unbroken rhythm of their identity. No such legacy exists among European Jews. No centuries of tribal witness, no matching traditions, no trace of ancient covenant keeping. Maps, art, and archaeology tell the same story. The Israelites were scattered, enslaved, and displaced, but never lost. The world always knew who they were. Their presence was visible, their customs alive, their story intact. This book doesn't speculate. It confirms the Israelites were black, bound by blood, culture, and covenant to the Most High. This is not just history, it's restoration. The truth was never destroyed, only buried beneath centuries of deception. Get your copy of They Always Knew We Were Israelites today, available now on Amazon.com.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. So, family, how do I sound? Because I had technical issues. And right now I'm still hearing some feedback. Let's see here. All right. Nope. All right. Hello? How do I sound, family? I sound clear. Give me a 1 if I sound okay. Give me a 2 if I don't. Okay. All right, good. Perfect. All right. So I think I figured out what it is. All right. So, family, we're going to be continuing this discussion on the foundation of Black Americas and the African descendants of slaves. Now, they try to use that to classify those who are the descendants of the slave trade in the United States, right? And I get it. But at the same time, it is a means of division, right? It is a method of control. And Satan is slick, right? And for me, I'm not an FBA. I'm not an ADOS. Why? Because that is a classification. It is a grouping, right? It's like saying your Sakari or, your IUIC. It is a grouping. And it's Americans against those on the continent. Now, the major issue that I have is that what we're seeing here is a systematic effort to keep us divided. Now, as long as they can keep us divided, we will never come together, right? So what we're dealing with here is in my opinion at least, is the infiltration of the awakening. And we've warned you all before that the Israelites have agents in it, right? The Christians have agents, right? Even those who claim not to be awakened. So, and if you notice, when it comes to the algorithms, right, for YouTube and TikTok, right, for channels like this, you don't get much. We don't get much reach. But if you notice, anything that has to do with division of the awakened people, that gets high up in the algorithms. Have you noticed that? Right, the wannabe fake Israelites who talk about Africa trying to steal our money, and then the semi-woke sleeping Israelites who in the days talking about let's boycott Africans. See, this goes against the prophecies. Now, let me get a feel here of who's in the room. For those who've been with Tell Ministries from the very beginning, give me a 1. That'd be like, that's starting around 2015, 2016. Those who came in, let's say after 2019, do a 2. And those who came in after, like, let's say 2022, give me a 3. The reason why I wanted to know that is because one thing you have to understand is that what we have been teaching, we started from day one. The ones who put a 1 in there, they have been here from the very beginning, and they have seen what we have taught come to pass. Those who gave me a 1 have not Tell Ministries been consistent in what we're teaching prophetically, and it is now coming to pass. Say yes for the ones with a 1. Say no for those who had who had a 1 as well. So only those who had the ones who've been here from the very beginning. And the reason why I say that is because there are Israelites, there are non-Israelites, there are secular Israelites, or they don't know they're Israel. There are Christians who are going along with the satanic agenda. And what is the satanic agenda? To keep us asleep. Now, what's happening I would say the story that played out in Black Panther. If you saw the movie, I think most of us saw Black Panther, the first one. And remember, when Killmonger was confronting, the hierarchy, T'Challa and his mother and his sister and the elite, he says, "I'm coming to help my people." Right? You could consider me Killmonger. You could consider me Killmonger, and you could consider the half woke, half sleep, fake Israelites who FBA. You can consider them T'Challa. Because Killmonger said, "Look, I'm coming to deliver my people." That's what Killmonger said. He said, I want what belongs to me." See, that's what we're saying today. I want what belongs to me. And so T'Challa says, "There's nothing here for you." And Killmonger says, "How come you don't help your people?" How come you don't deliver them from the oppressor? I'm just paraphrasing. And T'Challa says, they're not my people. I don't owe them nothing. I'm the king of Wakanda. That's FBA, and that's ADOS. They're T'Challa, right? All sucked up close to the United Nations, accepted by the powers that be, right? My identity comes from my relationship with America. They're not going to steal my money from the that America owes me. I'm going to get mine. They can't get none of mine. That's where we at, right? These fake wannabe awakened folks, even like Phil, right, of the African Diaspora Channel. He need to change his name back to what it was, the Advise Show. Phil need to change his channel back to the Advise channel because he's not African Diaspora. He's FBA. See, FBA only cares about FBA. They don't care anything at all about you uniting with the continent. Phil is two-faced. But hey, it is what it is, because there's a lot of people today who two-faced. See, Minister Tell and I, we're on Yahuwah's side. We're on Yahuwah's side, and because Yahuwah is on the awakened righteous Israelite side, we're on the awakened righteous Israelite side, who was scattered to the four corners. We got people out here calling us false prophets, calling us false teachers, because we say we're going back to the continent. Because we say we're supposed to unite with our family on the continent. But what I say, and what Minister Tell says, is that we are right smack dab in the midst of the greatest prophecy ever told in the history of this world, next to Yahusha. But they're playing politics. The only biggest thing that ever happened than what's happening now is when Yahusha came, the Messiah, and died for our sins and rose on the third day. That's the biggest thing that ever happened on this planet, and the best thing. But next to that is another awakening, is another resurrection. Oh, he's speaking crazy talk now. Oh, yeah, another resurrection. What are you talking about, Jacob? Another resurrection? Let me get this thing straight here, because I had to move some stuff around because my browser was real slow. So let's see here. Make sure I get this up. I got a whole bunch of windows open, and now my stuff is out of order because I have this new browser. All right, so let me give this a try and see what happens. You know what? I could do that. Hold on one sec. Let me do it this way. This might be easier. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me put some bass in it. All right. Yeah, this might work. Okay. Let me redo this. I'm gonna reorganize my tabs, fam. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. I could close this out. I'm going to move this over here. All right, I think we should be good. Let's see. All right, there we go. The famous Ezekiel 37. Y'all know this. We've been through it 100 times. And so, you have people who have no idea what Yahuwah is doing. They have no idea the prophecy is being fulfilled. They have no idea that we are in the times of one of the greatest events in human history, next to when the Messiah came. They don't know. And so they fight against the Most High. Some of them y'all think are our friends, and they're not our friends. They never were our friends. They fighting against the Most High. You notice they always fight against prophecy. You notice that, right? Anyway, let's continue. We're going to read Ezekiel 37, and we're going to talk about it a little bit in relationship to what's happening. The hand of Yahuwah was upon me, and he brought me out by the spirit of Yahuwah and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them and saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley. Bones that were very dry. He asked me, son of man, can these bones live? That's the question, y'all. Can these bones live? Who are they? They're dead. Nobody knows who they are. They claim to be the Israelites. I said, Yahuwah, you alone know. Then he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. This is what the sovereign master says to these bones. I will make breath into you and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath, prophesy, son of man, and say to it, this is what Yahuwah says, come breath from the four winds, and breathe into these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood upon their feet, a vast army. Then he said to me, son of man, these bones are who? The people of Israel, the whole house of Israel. They say, our bones are dried up and our hope is gone. We are cut off. Therefore prophesy and say to them, this is what Yahuwah says. My people, I am going to open your graves. This is what's happening. I'm going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel, Ezra Alawi. Then you, my people, will know that I am Yahuwah when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. And remember, we told y'all we about to go home. Then you will know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken and I have done it, declares Yahuwah. The word of Yahuwah came to me, son of man, take a stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Judah and the Israelites associated with him. Then take another stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Joseph, that is to Ephraim, and all the Israelites associated with him. Join them together into one stick. Join them together, unify. Join them together into one stick so that they will become one in your hand. So we have a people right, who claim to be foundational Black Americans. We have a people who claim to be ADOS, African descendants of slaves, but yet they are going against the will of the Most High. I ain't no cotton picking African. The Africans are stealing our money. Let's go ahead and boycott the Africans. But Yahuwah says he's going to join the sticks together. When your people ask, won't you tell us what you mean by this? Say to them, this is what Yahuwah says. I'm going to take the stick of Joseph, which is Ephraim's hand, and of the Israelite tribes associated with him, and join it to Judah's stick. But ADOS and FBA says, no, they're trying to steal our reparations. No, we're going to boycott them. I will make them into a single stick of wood, and they will become one in my hand. Hold before their eyes the sticks you have written on, and say to them, this is what Yahuwah says. I will take the Israelites out of the nations. So this is what's next, is coming soon to a theater near you, where they have gone. I will gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land. I will make them one nation in the land on the mountains of Israel. There will be one king over all of them, and there will never again be two nations or divided into two kingdoms. They will no longer defile themselves with their idols and vile images, or with any of their offenses, for I will save them from all their sinful backsliding, and I will cleanse them. They will be my people, and I will be their Elohim. My servant David will be king over them, that's Yahusha, and they will all have one shepherd. They will follow my laws and be careful. So that tell you it ain't Christianity. They will follow my laws and be careful to keep my decrees. They will live in the land I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where your ancestors lived. They and their children's children will live there forever, and David, my servant, will be their prince forever. I will make a covenant of peace with them. It will be an everlasting covenant. I will establish them and increase their numbers, and I will put my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling place will be with them, and I will be their Elohim, and they will be my people. Then the nations will know that I, Yahuwah, make Israel holy when my sanctuary is among them forever. So this is what's happening right here, is the valley of dry bones, but the awakening of Yasharal or Ezra Alawi, right? But yet you have FBAs, foundational Black Americans. Some claim to be Israelites, some claim to be Christians, some claim to be unbelievers, and ADOS, same there, and they have no idea what Yahuwah is doing. They have no idea what Yahuwah has planned. And we have been telling you from day one what has been happening. We've been telling you what was going to happen. We've been showing you, and each step of the way, those things have occurred, right? But like I have said before, what we have here is the infiltration of the awakening to cause division. Now, one thing I want to illustrate to you all is that Ezekiel 37, most people may not see this, is tied to the African Union reparations movement. See, now they're saying that the African Union is trying to steal our money. They're trying to steal our reparations. That's what they keep saying, right? The Valley of Dry Bones, descendants of enslaved scattered. That's what we're dealing with here, right? The Valley of Dry Bones are those who went into slavery among the nations. It said in Ezekiel 37, 1 and 3, the hand of Yahuwah was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahuwah and set me down in the midst of a valley which was full of bones. And he said unto me, son of man, can these bones live? Now this vision here begins with death, right? We died. We lost our identity. We lost our heritage. They call us Negroes. They call us Nigger. They call us African Americans. They call us Black. We lost our identity. We ain't know who we were, where we from, who our ancestors were. We ain't know we were Israelites. So the vision begins with death, desolation, and disconnection. The bones are many and scattered, representing a once whole people torn apart by what? Conquest, captivity, and exile. These bones reflect the transatlantic slave trade's legacy. Millions of Israelites taken from Africa, their identity stripped, their lands lost, their history buried under colonial lies. But yet, this is what the African Union is trying to restore. In today's world, the descendants of those scattered remain in the Americas, the Caribbean, and beyond. Generations have lived without the knowledge of their origin or purpose. The African Union's efforts toward reparations is not just political, it is a spiritual stirring of these bones. This is prophecy. This is the bones rattling. Ezekiel 37:45 says, prophesy upon these bones and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. Behold, I will cause breath to enter you, and ye shall live. The African Union's recognition of the diaspora as the sixth region of Africa is a form of this prophecy being fulfilled. It declares that these people are not forgotten. Reparations, return, and restoration are not about money alone, and we're going to see that, but about the acknowledgement of who these people are. They are not just descendants of slaves. They are Israelites. Yahuwah's chosen. Each called to reconnect. Now think of this, right? So we have bones to bones, right? We have sinews to sinews, right? Now, isn't this interesting? Think of this for a second. The depth of the Most High, right? So we got bones to bones, sinews to sinews. So we have a call to reconnect. Now, each DNA project confirming African roots, each law like Benin's citizenship offer, right? Because Benin says you got to show us your DNA, right? Bones to bones, sinews to sinews. Show us you part of the Atlantic slave trade, part of the descendants. And each call for reparation is breath entering the bones. It awakens purpose, stirs memory, and builds identity. These bones are rattling and the sinews are coming together. Ezekiel 37:7-8. So I prophesied, and the bones came together, and the sinews and flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. These bones reform into a people again, not yet fully alive, but visibly reconstructed. Now, we have a group of people that were scattered to the four corners of the earth. We have a people that needs to be regathered from the four corners of the earth. The African Union is trying to bring back the diaspora from the four corners of the earth and to get us reparations. But hey, people want to call us false prophets. Reparations talk is the early stage of these prophecies coming to pass. African nations forming councils, organizing diaspora conferences, issuing citizenships, and recognizing shared identity is the sinew and flesh. This is the body returning back to its shape. The African Union, by aligning scattered Israelites back to the land and the continent, is performing part of this prophecy, though there is no full spiritual breath, right? You know why? Because we're not back there. We got to go back first. The two sticks got to be put back together. Then the breath comes in. Many are still asleep to who they truly are. This is the beginning of a political and social resurrection. The breath of life, the spirit of Yahuwah, is awakening us. Ezekiel 37:9. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the winds, and say, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. The movement gains life. Now, you notice what's happening is there's finally action. There's finally movement. There's finally talk of us being all Africans. There's finally the discussion of us getting reparations for everybody, not just for FBAs, not just for ADOS, but for the whole group of Israelites who were scattered to the four corners of the earth, as we see in his prophecy of Ezekiel 37. The movement gains life when the spirit enters it. The breath is truth, repentance, covenant renewal, and acknowledgement of Yahuwah and his law. As the diaspora not only regains African identity, but remember they are Israel. This breath will fill them. The reparations movement, when rooted in justice and guided by Yahuwah's hand, will carry his people back, not just to the land, but to the covenant. The Spirit returns them to the law, to Yahusha, and to the role of being a light to the nation. So you see that we're rising, right? We're getting recognition. Who are these people? Who's Ibrahim Traore, right? Who's the African Union? Who are truly African? Now you notice, at the time that we have this uniting of Africans, African Israeli, we have a movement that says, I'm not no cotton picking African, I'm a Native American Indian. Do you think that's coincident? Ezekiel 37:11-12, behold, they say, our bones are dried and our hope is lost. We're cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy, behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel, or Ezra Alawi. Yahuwah defines the bones as what? The whole house of Israel. This includes those who are cut off, those who forgot their heritage, those who were enslaved, colonized, and scattered. That's everyone, not just the FBA, not just the ADOS. The reparations movement exposes this global system that profited off of Israeli captivity. It is the grave being opened. The promise is not just healing, but return. The African Union's recognition, the growing push for land, dignity, and citizenship for descendants of the captives aligns directly with this prophecy. It sets the stage for a greater return, not just physically to Africa, but spiritually to Zion. The two sticks unity of the scattered tribes. Ezekiel 37:16-17. Take the one stick and write upon it for Yahuwah, for Yehuda, which is Judah. Then take another stick for Joseph and join them one to another in one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. This movement is also about unity. The Israelites scattered into the world, right? And those who were scattered across the African continent must be brought back together. Movements like FBA, ADOS, and African continental initiatives often clash, but Ezekiel foretells their unity under one ruler, one king, which is Yahusha. The real reparations is not just monetary payment. It is the reunification of a people torn by slave ships, divided by colonial lines, and scattered by empire. Ezekiel 37 promises that Yahuwah himself will reunite us, making us one nation again. The AU push for reparations, global acknowledgement of Black suffering, and calls for return are not random. They are the bones beginning to move. The awakening has begun. Breath is coming, and when it does, a nation will rise, not from nowhere, but from the dust of empire, just as Ezekiel saw. So you have people who are ADOS, who's fighting against the will of the Most High. The Most High wants unity, but ADOS and FBA wants division, because they say they're going to steal our money. You ain't got no money. I was like, okay, well, where were the FBAs and the ADOS trying to get our reparations, fam? Did y'all hear anything about that? Yes or no? Because I never heard the FBA trying to get the United Nations and to give us our reparations, or the Vatican, or or anybody. I haven't seen any works like that from the FBA or ADOS. All I heard was like YouTube talk. I didn't see no projects. I didn't see the raising of no capital, no money. But the fact that we are fighting for our people and for the truth of the word of Yahuwah, we false prophets, we false teachers. And then what strikes me is that I hear that the main issue that FBA has is that some Africans don't like us. Y'all heard that? Yes or no? Some Africans don't like us, but most Africans do. I'm telling you, that's just COINTELPRO. That's just COINTELPRO. And because we are fighting to wake our people up and let them know, hey, guess what, y'all? The Most High is moving. Hey, guess what, y'all? The Most High's prophecies are coming to pass. Guess what, y'all? Do you know more than half of the world still asleep? They still don't know who we are. As a matter of fact, more than half of the Ezra Alawi don't know they're Ezra Alawi. But guess what, y'all? Prophecy is coming to pass. And see, this is how it always been. It's always been a remnant. Only a remnant knows the truth. Only a remnant tells the truth. Only a remnant teaches the truth. You got others who are like Judas. They want money. 30 pieces of silver. They'll sell out the whole body of Ezra Alawi. They'll sell out the whole body of Israel, Yasharal. They'll sell us all out for 30 pieces of silver. Just so they can live like the heathen. Just so they can live in Beverly Hills. Just so they can live in the skyscrapers, the top floor. Just so they can have their private jets. But they'll never run anything. They'll never control anything. But hey, they don't care that prophecy is coming to pass.
No institution in modernity that has changed the world as profoundly as the transatlantic slave trade and slavery in general. And we see the evidence of those legacies everywhere, not only in the places where it was practiced, like in the entire Americas, the impact on Africa. Most societies where it has touched are now structured in such a way that people of African descent are considered the most marginalized people in those societies. The descendants of these enslaved people, they still continue to suffer racism, not only in an institutional sense, but also in a social sense. And we can measure the damage in the following ways. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the backward agricultural system. Look at the broken educational system. Look at the massive illiteracy. Look at the ill health of the people who have been the descendants of the enslaved. These are all issues that must be repaired if these countries have a chance of having development. And also, too, these nations that were built on slavery, the whole purpose of it was to extract wealth from these people, from these communities, and transfer that wealth to the northern industrial nations. That is why slavery went on for 500 years. It was a wealth generating machine, and the wealth went to the sources of those who control the investment.
Our hope was lost. Prophecy. But you notice those who attack this ministry never come with prophecy. They don't believe the Bible. Don't get it twisted. They might have names like, they might call themselves mores, pastors. They might call them stuff like that. They might call them sister something, whatever. But they don't believe the scriptures. They don't.
So if there's going to be sustainable development, then we have to fix these issues. And the best way to do it is a reparatory justice framework. Now, reparatory justice is necessary to attend to these current issues. And those countries who have extracted the wealth from our people, they need to return a portion of that wealth to facilitate basic development. So now we have found that African governments, now equipped with the historical knowledge, are able to say, we want to have a conversation around reparations. We want to talk about it. So that was one of the major seismic achievements.
Bones to bones, sinews to sinews. I'm just saying, but why all the hate? Why all the division? I'm like, this is prophecy. But see, everyone who claims Lord, Lord, or Master, Master will not enter the kingdom of Yahuwah. A lot of these people who claim to be Israel are not going to make it out of here. Don't get it twisted.
So when the African Union met at the end of last year and declared that 2025 is going to be the year of African reparations, that was a huge historic achievement that Africa has finally found.
It is a huge historical achievement, but it is also a huge prophetic fulfillment.
Its voice, and the African governments have said, we are standing in solidarity with CARICOM, and CARICOM in Africa will now be speaking with one voice on this matter.
One voice on this matter, bones to bones, sinews to sinews, flesh to flesh. I'm just saying, what's with all the hate? Why FBA got to cause division? Why does ADOS got to cause division? We are seeing the plans of our Father coming to pass. But here's the thing, the devil hates what we do here. That's why we're always under attack. If we weren't doing the will of the Most High, we wouldn't be under attack.
Major achievement.
So prophecies are coming to pass while a lot of people are still asleep and some are trying to lead others astray. They're trying to lead others astray. Proverbs 11:21. Be sure of this, the wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will go free. It's only the remnant getting out of here. See them Israelites that's fighting against the prophecies, who's teaching that we teaching false doctrine and that we're false prophets and all this stuff, which we never prophesied. We just teach the scripture. They're not going to make it out. Only the righteous will go free. That's it. The Most High says in Ezekiel 32:33, Yahuwah replied to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. Some of them going to be blotted out. Don't get it twisted. I don't make that judgment. I'm not trying to make that judgment. But some of them are going to be blotted out because they're going against the will of the Messiah. That's what's going to happen, because the prophecies are coming to pass, and for those with eyes to see and ears to hear can see that.
My name is Eric Phillips. I'm the chairman of the Ghana Reparations Committee and the vice chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission. It's my pleasure to be here today at the African Dialogue series. Let us be clear. The African Union's decision to name 2025 the year of justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations is one of the most transformative political acts of the 21st century. For the first time, the African continent, through its highest multilateral body, has aligned unequivocally with the cause of reparatory justice. This is not only historic, it is strategic, legal, and unstoppable. It signals to Europe and the wider world the age of impunity is over. The era of accountability has begun. Under this year's sub-theme 3, Building the Future, Healing and Reparations Towards Socio-Economic Justice, we speak not only of redress, but of rebuilding. And to build forward, we must name the harms. In 1825, France forced Haiti, the first Black republic, to pay 150 gold million francs in reparations to former slaveholders. That debt was paid until 1947. It was a crime, not a contract. In 1884, the Berlin Conference partitioned Africa among 14 European empires. It erased cultures, created artificial borders, and paved the way for resource theft that continues today. In 2001, the Durban Declaration and Program of Action affirmed slavery and colonization were crimes against humanity. Yet 24 years later, no European country has paid monetary reparations. These injustices were not just immoral, they were legal violations, violations of jus cogens in the highest category of international law, and there are continuing wrongs even today. These harms persist today and are visible in the debt to GDP ratio of CARICOM states exceeding 100%, the technological marginalization of African descendant nations, and the systemic racial wealth gap that is global. Let me share some of our historical actions in CARICOM. In 2013, CARICOM launched a Reparations Commission and adopted a 10-point plan. In 2022, Ghana co-hosted the Africa Diaspora Summit on Reparations, leading to the Accra Declaration on Racial Healing. In 2023, the Accra Reparations Conference, co-convened by the AU and Ghana, brought together heads of states from Africa and the Caribbean and United Nations, scholars, activists, and civil society. Together, we called for a multilateral reparations framework and a global reparations fund. So what does building our future look like? Imagine canceling colonial debt, funding health with it, education, infrastructure. Imagine transferring technology to end knowledge apartheid and enable sovereignty in AI, biotech, and green energy. Imagine securing land rights. Imagine reparatory finance, capital to rebuild health, education, infrastructure. Imagine access to global credit on equal terms without the racist Africa risk freedom. Imagine cultural and historical restitution, including repatriation of stolen artifacts and ancestral remains. Now think about this for a moment. Africa holds over 60% of the world's remaining arable land, 40% of global gold, 90% of platinum reserves, and has a median age of just 19.2 years. This is not a continent of deficiency. This is not a continent in need of pity. This is a continent ready to lead reparations and to bring the bridge of healing to the rest of the world and regrounding ourselves. What is our call to action? With the African Union and CARICOM united, we're now a global front powered by 1.5 billion descendants of the enslaved and colonized. We're no longer asking politely. We're building legally, economically, and politically. Let 2025 be remembered not as the year we asked for reparations, but the year we began delivering them. We're not victims of history. We are the authors of justice, the Africa we want, the Caribbean we fight for. The future we owe to our ancestors begins now. Thank you. I'm so proud to be part of this event.
So let's think about this for a second. For those with reasonable minds, right? We see that in Deuteronomy 28, right? We're cursed in the city, cursed in the field, right? And that has been over the generations. Cursed shall your basket and your store. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body and land, right? We don't even have control over our crops, our children, our livestock. Cursed in your coming and your going out, both here and on the continent, right? They barely have anything. They don't control their own resources, but they're taking it back. Yahuwah will send cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all you set your hand to do, you will be destroyed. Yahuwah will make pestilence cling to you, smitten with consumption, fever, inflammation. The heaven over you will be bronze, earth under you iron. Anything you do ain't gonna work. Rain turned to powder and dust, defeated before your enemies. We're defeated before our enemies, but yet we're rising up now. Your body will be meat for the birds and beasts, smitten with balls of Egypt, tumors, scabs, itches, smitten with madness, grope at noonday as the blind, oppressed and spoiled evermore, engaged to a wife, another man will lie with her, build a house and not live in it. Is that not the case? Plant a vineyard, not enjoy the fruit. They take our veggies, our fruits, our cocoa. They take our gold, our silver, our oil, our bauxite, right? Your donkey violently taken, not restored. They'll take your car. If you don't make your payment, they'll take your house if you don't pay the taxes, right? These are reasons why we have to leave from under their control, right? Your sheep will be given to enemies, your sons and daughters given to another people. We know that's happened, right? So, but yet at the restoration, which what we're seeing at the gathering of the dry bones, is that these things are being taken back. Ibrahim Traore taking back the land, taking back the gold, taking back the resources. And others are following suit, like Namibia, Mali, Niger, even some of the ones who still part of ECOWAS starting to take some of their resources back. Right? Nations you don't know will eat the fruit of your land. Do they not eat the fruit of our land, both on the continent and our household? The money we make, they take out half in taxes. More than half, really. They say 40%, but it's more than that. Right? So we see that the prophecies are coming to pass in the reversing of the curses. But yet, some people want to, make like, hey, we teaching something foreign, like it's not in the Bible. Also, they just don't get it. But hey, let's continue.
Unity, Pan-African unity, the unity of a global Pan-African family, Caribbean, Europe, Asia Pacific, North America, Central America, and South America must be a unity of perspective, a unity of vision, a unity of imagination. Let's address, as the Prime Minister Niamato of Barbados asked us to do, the infrastructure-related questions of linking Africa and the Caribbean. Let's address, as Prime Minister Fraser Jamaica urged us, question of the sixth region. Let's address, as CARICOM has urged us, question of reparations for historical injustices that I referred to earlier, related to chattel enslavement, colonialism, and apartheid. Let's address the economic integration, economic cooperation, economic value addition, and industrialization that mutually or brings the mutual interests of Afro descendants, Afros, and Africans on the continent of Africa together. We will need to create a proper framework for engagement with Africans in the diaspora in Africa and for Afro descendants. We will need to create proper representation across different interests.
Look, moderators, somebody deal with School of Skills. I will not have him calling out people and Mike. Put him in timeout. He do it again, block his tail.
There's something akin to the commissions that we have at the African Union. We will also need to address selecting force. When does Africa speak up for the rights of Afro descendants in North America? Afro descendants. I mean, recently we had a president of a foreign country, global power, pronounce themselves on the rights of his kids and kin in a country such as South Africa. When do Africans stand in solidarity with Afro descendants wherever they are located? And when do we begin to create opportunities for us to get to know each other better, people-to-people exchanges, cultural diplomacy amongst ourselves, economic diplomacy amongst ourselves, environmental diplomacy amongst ourselves, to keep Africans and Afro descendants part of some of the largest groups of people that are facing the ravages of climate change. It is important also that we have exchanges that focus on the question of sustainable and transatlantic peace, because Africans and Afro descendants are some of the people populations that are living in insecurity, facing conflict, live conflict, armed conflict. And we need diplomacy that touches on the question of leveraging our technological advantage, because Africans and Afro descendants will constitute the largest group in the world, and also a significant number of Afro descendants and Africans access to technology, but also suffer significant disadvantages when it comes to the growth of artificial intelligence and technology. The digital economy, digital society digital security and digital rights affect Africans and Afro-descendants more than most other groups. So it seems to me that, in conclusion, in essence, constructing a unity that is an economic tool, constructing a unity that is a social imperative, cultural imperative, an environmental imperative, but constructing the unity that leverages intellectual and ideating power, but that's also leverages our common humanity would be key. Thank you.
So I'm gonna say this. Like School of Skills. If any of y'all sitting in here and come here with that foolishness, you're gonna get blocked. I'm gonna just say it like that. You're gonna call them a Hamite. That's the sick people right there. See, that's the people who think they're Native American Indians. That's the people who think Mexicans are us. I guarantee you, School of Skills is a camp member. He called him a Hamite. I got family that look just like that dude. Family, yes or no? Give me a one if you got family that look like him. Give me a two if you don't. See, some of these guys, you know, they mulattoes and they mix and all that stuff. Not that I have a problem with that, because that's what happened. I'm just saying, y'all bias against your own people. And it's very disrespectful when we see the prophecies coming to pass and the Most High keeping his word, and the Most High is bringing the two sticks together for those who claim to be Ezra Alawi, for those who claim to be Israelites, for those who claim to be Yasharal, to come in here and cause division. See, this is why I have a problem with FBA and ADOS. This is the kind of spirit that they generate. Division. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. It's a spirit.
Greetings to all. I am Ambassador Dr. June Suma, the immediate past chair of the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. Brethren, on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the Durban Declaration, this significant year 2025, in which the African continent and global Africa articulates justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. In this year, which marks the commencement of the second decade for people of African descent, the 125th year since the 1900 London Conference on Pan-Africanism, the 60th anniversary of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, we are here to effect a transformation that will break the back of indignity and disregard for Africans and people of African descent for the past, present, and the future. I thank you for the opportunity to present this message under the sub-theme, Building the Future, Healing and Reparations Towards Socio-Economic Justice for Africans and People of African Descent, for the African Dialogue Series in such a significant year. As a member of the CARICOM Reparations Committee, a member of the St. Lucia National Reparations Committee since 2013, and a member and immediate past chair of the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent, I want to share with you an appeal for healing that is at the root of the dialogue of the gatherings of the stakeholders of all of these agencies. The foundational and the fundamental proposition is that internal healing is a necessary preparatory step for the clarity needed to articulate and effect reparations. The global reckoning that must occur demands that we as a people from and of Africa must be ready to face the truth with a clarity of purpose, with a collective, liberated, decolonial mindset, armed with knowledge and understanding that will reveal our purpose, while simultaneously uncloaking the deceit of deep-rooted systemic colonialism and racism that keeps us enchained. We will have to reach into both the pain and the glory of the past to construct a mended future. Our action and impact-oriented youth want collective accountability from former and current colonial governments and states now. Our elders who have labored on the reparation battlefield do not want government processes to obscure their life's work. They too want to realize their dreams of justice for their ancestors without compromise. One of the healing strategies must be deeper engagement with all of our communities on their specific traumas and their vision of healing. This critical juncture in the reparation movement must be about involvement. We cannot fear the inclusion of all, as the knowledge of the truth will be important to the mass mobilization of global Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, the Permanent Forum is one of the major successes of the first decade on people of African descent. It has already captured the imagination and the energy of the young people of African descent globally, while offering hope to the weathered warriors. This is because its establishment is a significant, promising development in the global discourse surrounding racial equality, human rights, and the recognition of the contributions and the challenges faced by Africans and people of African descent. This year, the fourth session of the forum attracted over 800 participants from more than 100 countries, and 85% were CSOs. In line with the Durban Declaration and Program of Action and objectives of the first international decade of people of African descent, the focus of the forum is explicitly on recognition, justice, and development for people of African descent. As a consultative platform, its advisory function to the United Nations Human Rights Council, as well as its significant responsibility in the global discourse, means that the future impact of this forum must be effectively crafted and harnessed. We fully support the resounding call by the DDPA for reparatory justice and for states to acknowledge their historical responsibilities and take concrete actions to make amends for past injustices. We are also guided by the pioneering work undertaken by CARICOM since 2013 to make reparatory justice a global movement. We fully support the partnership between the AU and the Caribbean nations to unite in the quest aimed at persuading European countries to acknowledge and compensate for their roles in historical mass crimes, specifically the transatlantic slave trade. The forum has capitalized on this momentum by making this a key demand in all of our sessions and our annual reports. The forum addresses the systemic inequities and economic, cultural, political, and social disparities that have resulted from these historical legacies and advocates for a human rights perspective to rectify and transform systemic and structural injustices. The reports of the Permanent Forum, largely reflective of consultations with CSOs, have made numerous recommendations, including that the General Assembly request an advisory opinion from the International Court of Justice on the legal question of reparatory justice for histories and legacies of colonialism and enslavement. the establishment of a global reparations fund towards addressing the lasting consequences of the transatlantic slave trade, enslavement, colonialism, apartheid, and genocide. We have called for a UN Global Summit on reparatory justice and a special focus on reparations and restitution for Haiti, as we reiterate that the attack on the humanity of Haitians is an attack on the humanity of all Africans and people of African descent. Moreover, we view reparatory justice as integral to achieving global sustainable development, racial equity, and justice. And we have maintained that there can be no sustainable development and equity without reparations. The global calls for reparations for the historical legacies of enslavement and colonialism have gained new urgency in the digital age, where systemic inequities within and among countries risk being replicated in emerging technologies. We have maintained that access to technology is not sufficient without truth and ethics at the level of input and effective and continuous monitoring and evaluation. Women of African descent have long highlighted the intersectional form of digital bias that combines racism and sexism, targeting them, and underscores the need for a more inclusive and representative approach to AI development. The forum was leading the calls for a second international decade and believe that it represents a historic opportunity to advance issues regarding healing and reparations in a strategic manner. As we move forward, let us remember the African proverb. If you wish to move mountains tomorrow, you must start by lifting stones today. Together, we can lift the stones of indignity, inequality, and inhumanity by recommitting to a future that upholds unity and equality, integration and involvement, dialogue, truth, and internal reconciliation. Let us prepare to move mountains. One love, one heart. I graciously thank you for this opportunity.
So, the African Union has been engaging in this for over 30 years now. That's when they were called the Organization of African Unity, or the OAU, back in 1993. Okay, so in 93, the OAU convened the first Pan-African Conference on reparations in Abuja, Nigeria. So they've been doing this for 30 years. This is part of biblical prophecy. Now, what we have to understand is that, there's those who are against us unifying because they don't want us to leave Babylon. Some people don't want to leave Sodom and Gomorrah. They want to look back. Some people are like, I don't want to leave here because I have AC. I don't want to leave here because I got some real good poison steak and some real good poison water and some real good poison air. They're deceived. And I'm like, that's fine if you want to stay, but I'm not. I'm not. So, and well, you could, I don't have the link right here because I downloaded the PDF, but I'm going to share this with you. You could go to the African Union website to get this particular document. I'm just going to read a part of it. All right. It says, the first Pan-African Conference on Reparations, sponsored by the GEP and the Commission for Reparations of the OAU, the federal government of the Republic of Nigeria, was convened on 27th, 29th April 93 in Abuja. The outcome document of the conference is the Abuja Proclamation on Reparations. The Abuja Proclamation represented a key moment in the contemporary history of the African reparations efforts, because it served as a catalyst for revitalizing reparations movements and was the first common position taken by the political leadership of Africa. The delegates of Abuja Conference were inter alia convinced that the issue of reparations is an important question requiring what? The united action of Africa and its diaspora. What? the united action of Africa and its diaspora. Oh, they're trying to steal our reparations. And fully persuaded that the damage sustained by the African people is not a thing of the past, but is painfully manifest in the damaged lives of contemporary Africans from Harlem to Harare, in the damaged economies of the Black world, from Guinea to Guyana, from Somalia to Suriname. Consequently, the Abuja Proclamation on Reparations called upon the international community to recognize that there is a unique and unprecedented moral debt owed to the African people, which has yet to be paid, the debt of compensation to the Africans as the most humiliated and exploited people of the last 4 centuries of modern history. Does that sound like they're trying to steal your reparations, family? Yes or no? Don't sound like they're trying to steal your reparations to me. They've always had you in mind. Now, I got the link out there. Y'all want to come up here? Let's have a conversation. FBAs, when you come on, let me know you FBA. ADOS, you come on, let me know you ADOS. That's if y'all want to come on. Did that link show up? Because I'm not seeing that. Let me paste it again because I don't think it went. All right, there we go. There's the link if you want to come on. Ah, what it? There it is. It's moving too fast. That's what's happening. So we got to understand this, right? There's always going to be opposition from the enemy. He's always going to be using your own people against you. He's always going to be throwing gaslight at you or gaslight you. This is how the enemy moves. And when someone opposes the enemy is going to throw everything he has at them. Now, the sad part of that is that the blind lead the blind and they both fall into the pit, right? So a lot of you, all you follow false teachers, right? False prophets, right? And so then, you know, as they try to make it sound like it's something magnanimous and that, oh, we're worried about our money. We're worried about the Americans when they're going against Yahuwah, who wants to unify the two sticks. Hey, Minister Rick.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you been?
I'm doing well. I'm by their definition, I am FBA.
Explain.
But go ahead.
Explain that to me.
Well, they say if your family was here during the 1872 census, and you're a descendant of slaves. On my father's side, we're in Tennessee and Missouri. Mother's side, North Carolina. So we are, you know, that type of demographic.
Okay, so all of us whose ancestors got here on the slave ships or FBA. Okay, I get that. But what about the movement and the belief and the anti-Africanism of it?
Well, these are agents. And what it is, I'm gonna draw a picture of it. You know the movie Django?
Yeah.
Steven talking about, boss, you're not gonna let them immigrants move up in on the big house. You can't let them immigrants come here move in the big house. How they gonna come up in here? So. You know.
Now you shut up, boy. You do what I tell you to do, all right? They're gonna be my guest.
Wait a minute. How you? I'll whoop them out. I'll turn them in the ice myself. So that's what you're dealing with on that ground, and the other thing is that the God is putting the two sticks together, and yeah, it's some family feuding. I spoke before when about the FBI. There are some grievances, but see, we got the people got caught up in a war between flavors of white supremacy. Uh, we know parties don't mean anything. It's all about white supremacy. But the Democratic flavor and the Republican flavor, these people got caught up as pawns. So they were brought in. They were going to be used by the Democrats in the country for a certain reason, and the Republicans do it. So they're just caught up here. Now, I don't think it's wise spiritually for them to be moving to Babylon at that time. I don't think that was wisdom. But I'm saying is you got to delineate. The other thing is the misinformation about these aboriginals and the camp. Well, we're aboriginals and things like. Well, guess what? If you're Aboriginal and you believe that we originated here and this time we were always here, then you have no right to any FBA reparations.
Yep.
You need to call the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they got some because you were on the short bus and you didn't get a casino and you didn't get some land. We were coming from New York. We went through Seneca country. They got some land and some jurisdiction over here. So you didn't get in on that. But you have no part in this debate about the FBA. Oh, the thing I wanted to say is this country will never pay reparations.
Oh,
Reparations,
that's why she gonna be destroyed.
that's what I'm saying. Reparations are coming as an act of God.
Yeah.
And when it's an act of God, it's our own rules. So a lot of these FBAs, are you ready to take your reparations check at a dissolution, liquidation sale of the United States? Because that's what it's shaping up to be. Uh, the daughters of Babylon, I mean, the beast is getting ready to buck off the horde that rides the beast, and she's going to be dissolved. See, they have a false belief that there's going to be America, just like the people on the plantation said, Sugar Land ain't never going to die. They can't conceive of a world where they're not on the plantation. And they talk about our achievements since slavery. Basically, we're in sharecropping mode. The people who actually got to be landowners and got land, I read about another place. They flooded it. That has been taken out. I talked to Karis. All of Black Wall Street and everything you want to build was taken out by state-sponsored terrorism.
Yep.
State-sponsored terrorism. And you think if you get a reparations check that they won't bring state-sponsored terrorism again to do it. And when you go to redress, you're going to go to the courts and you're going to get done in like lawfare, just like those old people who had actually family had survived the Black Wall Street destruction, and they brought a case and they threw that out. So it's idiocy and thinking that you're going to get fairness from these same people. You got your thing. You feel that you're going to get more beneficence and fairness from these people here, who have proven what they're going to do. That's insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different answer. They think we're better than our ancestors. We're smarter than them. We're going to build it up here. It ain't happening. But the leaders
Exactly.
of this thing are agents. So don't even
Yep.
I believe. Well, I think people who people need to make a better case. I think we need to be a better case of people who know better, and biblically, because biblically God is going to judge this place, and you cannot bless what God has cursed. This place is toast. So if you want to get toasted, he says not just us leaving. He said the foreigner, the farmer who's going to be here, the husbandman is going to leave. So everybody getting up out of here. So it really don't get too wound up in these people. Just keep on, do your negotiations, getting together, put the two branches together and let the Most High deal with these rebels who are going to leave out. Oh, one more thing and I'm going to let it go. In the first Exodus, the Pharaohs and Egyptians, they paid reparations, but they say, take your money and go. So you
Yeah,
think
that's
if they
true.
finally give it up, if there's any entity they control, you think they ain't gonna say, okay, you got your money, Negro, then go. You get restored. We restored you to where you were when we got you. Get out. Here your money, get to stepping. You think you gonna
That
let
is
these things?
true. America might give us our reparations when they push us out, just like the
That's what
Egyptians
Pharaoh
did.
did. They said, okay, you wanted the wealth of Egypt. Take it and go. Get out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to monopolize this channel, but I am FBA
So
by strict
Minister Rick,
demographic.
Minister Rick, so I would give that a new definition. FBA is fear of being African. That's the
Yeah,
definition.
yeah, because they bring it up. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when they would have us trotting out Tarzan stuff about them, and then they were telling them lies over there, you know. So yeah, that they could trot out some of this stuff, and these people would come and disparage African features, which they have as well. And there was a point I brought up with Karis about these Haitians. The U.S. government in 1914 stole $500 million in gold bullion from Haiti, out of the Bank of Haiti, and transferred it to a bank in New York. You can look it up, Google it, find out. They took that money. They've held this money for 100 plus years, 1914 to now, 110, 12 years. Send the Haitians home, but give them their money back in interest, with interest over the time. I think Kara said it'd come up to like $16 billion or something like that. So you say, let them develop their own country, cut the check to them, pay them back. So if they ain't gonna cut the check to them of money that they absolutely took from them, that's documented, everybody knows they took it there. What makes you think they're gonna pay reparations to you, which they can't, which they say we can't quantify? Here's a figure that we can quantify, but we're not. U.S. is not sending the Haitians back home with that money. The interest on $500 million wasn't money; it was gold bullion. So there you go. Anyway, I've talked enough. My feelings on it. I claim the demographic, not the policies. Basically, there were some good people in the beginning, but it's taken over by the agents. They're taking advantage of the situation, but they will not prevail. His
So
kingdom
Minister
come,
Rick,
his will be done. Yeah.
what do you think about those so-called Israelites who claim to be Israelites who are against Africa and Africans as well?
Well, see that campism stuff came out.
Some of them not camp though.
Oh well, they're against that. If you call yourself an Israelite and you're following the prophecy, see a lot everybody they I grew up in the Episcopal Church, and there was a wise old man, you know, 'cause we were in the Book of Common Prayer, who told me I was a young man. I was a delegate to the National Union of Black Episcopalians, but he told me that Episcopalians are biblically ignorant, and I've come to find that that's our whole people. Now, a lot of what we're going through now with all this stress and things like that, we're acting like a woman being chased by a dragon. That's how we act. And so, no, any Hebrew Israelite that is talking this stuff is not seeing. If you're a true Hebrew Israelite, you're worried about the Most High taking this place out at any time, because he
Exactly.
don't need the Russians. He don't know. He can use. You cannot limit. It's reparations will be an act of God. So whatever God do, you can't determine how God's going to do. He's judged us with our enemies. He judged us. He could bring armies over here to do that. But I told them on my job when they got crazy, you know, hey, God is in control. You the government, you think you're all that. I said, God can pull a plug on Yellowstone and no more United States. He can throw that rock into the sea like that island in off of Africa. That if it's a landslide there, the tsunami wipes out the east coast, west coast. He has no problem of dealing with unaliving a nation, a landmass. So people who are doing the good work like that, just don't be distracted, because we have no standing or power. We can't. The people like that are not getting. All they want is to be a house nigga in what's left of Babylon. I told Karis, it's people over here trying to get an upgrade on the Titanic. You know, we got on this
Yeah,
ship. When
exactly.
we got on this ship, we was the cargo, but we working to get off steer. We going into steerage, and we gonna get up to first class, and we gonna come all the way up to the deck of the. We can swim in the swimming pool on the Titanic, and get to see all that thing like that and not realize that, and they got sense enough to know the ones that survived the Titanic were the first ones that jumped into the lifeboats. A lot of people stayed on the Titanic because it was still better on the ship than in the lifeboats. But some of them said, well, we out of here. Those are the ones that lived. So while it's
Yeah.
still better on the Titanic a little bit than being in the water on the lifeboats, get out. So I believe that the only thing keeping me here in America is that the Africa, I'm with Karis, is being prepared. The mountains of Israel. In fact, then dealing with these people, Jacob, I really would like you just to do some more resources in defining exactly where Jerusalem is and exactly who. I mean, a lot of people say, these people are African Hamites. Yeah, no, it's a lot of Hebrews over there, but there are some, the Philistines are still there. You did some research on those other tribes here that were against us in the Bible. They may be for us now, whatever, but I'd like some more research on who are the Amalekites, who are the Philistines, and who are these other people over there for when we get there. But that's just me.
I have some stuff I've been working on the side. I've been building my own little chart. But it's a process. I don't have hard facts. It's sort of circumstantial. I have my opinions.
Yeah, well, I mean, your opinions have been spot on so far. So that's the information I want to know, because I'm going in something like that. So I mean, yes, there are a lot of Hebrews over there, but they may be some people still over there that do have an axe to grind with us.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's
just
true.
saying. I'm saying, so I'd like to get that information from you, and really don't worry about this thing. I was a youth pastor for most of my adult life. I've always been dealing with young people, and they are open. See, it's easy to get somebody who has nothing to lose don't have a problem with getting up and moving. And
Yeah,
literally, we have a generation that has nothing to lose, nothing for
yeah,
them, everything coming up. And
yeah.
I
I
want to
agree.
spend my rename. You go after them. Don't even worry about that. God just wrote off everybody over 20. So
I'm not gonna say that, Minister.
no, I'm just well. If you ain't in Joshua and Caleb mode, yeah. See, I rolled like Joshua and Caleb. I'm entering the land, but you got
I know that's right.
a lot of folks took the lollipop and self-deleted. So I'm
That's
just
true.
saying,
That's
you
true.
could write.
That's true.
I see precious little work being when I was dealing with Q2UA. I was trying the people in Chicago. We got to get these young people. So I'm hitting the streets for these young people, trying to get off this ops mess and this drill stuff. I got some things I got to do. So I got some missions because see, if you are truly in the Savior and you communicate with him and he's operating in you, he has a work for you to do. See,
Yeah. Yep.
there's a lot, and we have not changed over the years. The thing that got the Savior crucified, they had this trumped up trial with these bogus witnesses and everything like that, but they didn't have enough to get him on the cross. But what got him crucified? He said, tear down the temple in 3 days. He raised it up.
Yeah.
Them people couldn't get. They were fixated on a building. And they said, he gonna destroy the temple. He was talking about himself. The black church today is still fixated on the same building. You can't do this stuff in the church, do all kind of abominations in their flesh, which is the true temple, supposed to be the temple of the Holy
Yep.
Spirit. But in
Exactly.
the church, you can't do this, Same thing. Of course,
Yep.
we the same people. But
Exactly.
anyway, all right. But I always enjoy talking with you. The governor left some more money. I can send some more money your way. But again, I don't go into attack mode on these people. I try and get understanding and explain things and let the facts and things do it. This is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with Stephen, but the people shouting loud. Old song was talking loud and saying nothing. A lot.
Yeah.
That's the agents. Don't even worry about the agents. The people. The Ruach Hakodesh is dealing on the people.
Yeah.
The fact that
It's just that the people that's stoning Stephen is his own people.
yeah. Well, see, the Ruach Hakodesh has told all of our people to stand down. Don't get involved in this. Don't get involved in these immigrant marches. Don't
Yeah.
do anything like that. Now that's universal. Now that's the
Yeah.
work of the Ruach Hakodesh, where everybody got the chill out call. whatever spot, FBI, everybody got that chill out call. That's the Ruach HaKodesh there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So be encouraged. I always encourage you and Karis. I got some missions going here. Well, see, that's the other thing. They attack you talking about. And see, you had some people operating among you, and I won't mention any names, Sister E. I won't mention any names, but they were always honest. I worked with the
Oh,
government. I
Minister
worked.
Rick, 100%. You hit that out the park, my brother. You absolutely correct.
See, at one time, I think I was thought to be an ops because I had a reaction to a particular commitment I had made, and the Holy Spirit said, "Stop it." And I saw something. The person subsequently that they saw was removed. You got to see that when you have a sleeper cell, y'all got too close, so they had to pull somebody. The sleeper cells, they had to call them. They had to bring them out of a deep cover and
Yeah.
activate them. And
Yep,
see,
you got that right.
so the thing is, but the thing is, and I chide you about it all. When you're dealing with that counter spy stuff, that my whole career was that now, because my whole apartment went deep cover. That I was working for the federal government. What I'm saying is, don't get in your emotions. Chill
Yeah.
like Karis and stuff like that, because you're dealing espionage and counter espionage.
I
And
agree.
as far as people talking about what why are so few people going to things like that? Jesus didn't tell everybody everything. He spoke to his disciples one way and
Yeah,
spoke to the rest of them in parables. When
that's
Moses
true.
went to the mountain, he spoke directly with God and didn't like that. So this business saying that y'all running some private deal. No, this is the Most High.
Oh yeah.
Everything you're doing. So, hey, I can go on and on, but I appreciate it. I'll hang up and listen, and you just keep doing, you keep doing the Most High's work.
Thanks, Minister Rick. I appreciate your input. Thanks for coming on. JU, you have to unmute yourself. Going once. Going twice, JU or Jew. Okay, I'm gonna put you in the back.
Okay, I just
Okay,
got it.
there we go. All right.
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
So, hey, how you doing? Shalom
I'm
to
good.
everybody. Great. Great work, Mr. Yakoba. Um, as usual, everybody not always right, but um, when there's a certain way that you approach things. It's in a humble way, in a truthful, concerning way. Um, so it's like if you don't know, then you don't know. But when you pick a side without knowing, you you're not looking for the truth. You're being biased. You're feeding into your emotions. Something that happened to the past because things changing. The continent is changing. People want to say, "Oh, the Africans did this and the Africans did that," But things are changing, and they not realizing what y'all is doing, bringing the two sticks together. Yeah, we have vexed each other. So you can't be stuck. You gotta uh you gotta look at the truth of the matter of what's going on because God is showing us stuff. But so I got like 4 points, just real quick. So the first one is I think most of it's to do with what the AU was talking about, what they bringing up in regards to reparations. So some people talk about stakeholders. Oh, we're not stakeholders. But just real quick, if you want to pull it up, it don't matter. But for all the people who want to see about stakeholders, if you go to Objective 7 on the AU's website and click what this the AU's website, and they got the theme, the reparation theme of 2025. You click on Objective number 7. It describes what the stakeholders are, and guess what it says? The diaspora. That's us. So that's stakeholders. So we are described as a part of the stakeholders. The
Yeah.
second point, sixth region. Let me see here. No, the African Union sixth region representing the African diaspora is not yet fully complete. While the AU Constitution recognizes the diaspora as the sixth region and encourages their participation in building the continent. is still in the process of being formalized, integrated into the AU's structure. The African Union officially recognized the African diaspora as the sixth region in its constitution, specifically Article 3. Despite this recognition, the process of fully integrating the diaspora into the AU's organs and activities is ongoing. There's still a need to give substance to this virtual region. So this will be the sixth region. Right now is 5 regions. There are 5 geographical regions. Of course, we are not geographically Africa, but we're virtually the sixth region, which would be included as a member state. But what we got to do is we got to step up to the table, right? But if we want to automatically stay stuck in the past and not realize what's going on, we're gonna say, oh, they just want to steal from us again, or steal from us. So you know what I mean. So it's on the table. It's time to move. It's time to move. Okay. So and then I heard somebody say talking about suing Africa or suing the AU because of I guess it was nonsense. So I can't really tell you why they saying it, but I will say this: if it's the AU that's talking about implementing us into their programs, implementing us into ways to access land, like things are changing. I know in some places, a lot of places they have like where you gotta renew your right to be able to stay in certain places every 3-4 months or a certain amount of time. But even that's changing. Even some of the videos you played, they're talking about changing those type of things. So right, they're talking about changing all of that, but people not listening. And so I mean, they're talking about implementing us into their resources and everything, but people not listening. So I mean, that's a form of apologies. That's more than what the USA government is doing. So why are you talking about suing them? Work with them. Step up to the table. If you step up to the table and speak, they can't steal it from you. And when we go back, there will be miracles. Because once we set it up, they're not gonna just let us go easily. So we will see God's hand. This is just, I guess, political talk. It's not really political talk. It's prophetic talk. Is from the Bible. The two sticks coming together. You can look at it as political, in somewhat, but but it's at the very beginning stages, and as we go through the process, you will see miracles because the devil ain't gonna just let it happen easily. So that's all I want to say real quick.
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming on, Drew. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, fam. So here's the deal. We got to understand that as we look at Ezekiel chapter 37, that everything in there is part of a process. And that's what we're seeing, right? We're seeing the growth of the African Union and what it's trying to accomplish from, like I said, even when it was the OAU and now it's the AU, it may be something else at the end. But understand, in the end, we're going to go back home, right? It only makes sense because think about it. If let's say we were to get reparations, right? Which we are going to get because the Bible says we would. But let's say we got reparations and we stayed here in America, right? Like the foundational Black Americans and the ADOS want to do. Do you not know it would be a good 3 months before these people came and burned down our homes and deleted us to try to steal what we have? We couldn't stay here anyway, even if we had the reparations. I don't understand how you don't see the past and think the past won't repeat itself, right? Even if we got reparations, we can't stay here. They're going to try to take it once again. They're going to do another Rosewood, another Black Wall Street. We have to leave. And so now we see that the prophecies are happening. We see that the bones are rattling. The bones are coming together, the sinews, right? African nations are starting to push back on the colonizer, taking their resources back, aligning themselves and creating agreements amongst themselves, all in fulfillment of the prophecies. That is Ezekiel 37. Next time, read Ezekiel 37 from the viewpoint of a nation or nations, not from this abstract, symbolic view, because Israel's a nation. Israel's the one that was dead. Now the Most High is bringing it back to life. Right now we know we're African people, African traditions, right? That our inheritance is Africa, at least sub-Saharan Africa. And so now you got people who love Babylon because Babylon has quail, if y'all know the Bible. Some people love Babylon and they will betray you. It's, like I said, it's like Cypher. Cypher in the Matrix, he knew it was a lie. Some of these people know it's a lie. But just like Cypher, they want to stay in the Matrix. Why? Because he could eat a nice, good steak, even though it doesn't exist. Or that steak is poison. Don't let these people gaslight you. Don't let FBA gaslight you. Don't let the ADOS gaslight you. Don't let the so-called wannabe fake Israelites gaslight you. Why? Because they don't care about the Most High. And they don't care about your deliverance. They care just like the colonizer cares. And what do I mean by that? They want to control you. That's what they want. Just like the colonizers want to control you. Some Israelites, at least by blood, want to control you. But not all Israel is Israel. Y'all got to get that under, understanding. Not all Israel is Israel. See, if the devil not attacking you and lying on you and misaligning your name, let's say, I don't know if that's the right word. But if the devil ain't beating up on you, you probably ain't doing nothing. So, fam, that's all I got. Look, seek the Most High, pray about all this, because in my opinion, we're about to go home. That's how close we are. We are about to go home. That's sort of relative. I get it. But we're about to go home. And some people don't like that. Right? So, peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of Messiah. If you want to support us, you can by becoming a patron. You can also support us by giving Cash App, $TOTW7101. Also, go to tailministries.com. Click on the donations tab if you want to give that way. I think we living in some interesting times. Well, I know we living in interesting times. And don't be surprised things happen overnight. And I'm going to tell you like this. Like I say, I mean, our ministry is different. It's different. Because it's a truth ministry. And I'm going to say this, just based upon my observance, 2025 has been a year of death. 2025, I've been seeing people dying left and right around me. I'm sure you all have seen the same. This is a year of death, just like the Deagle report we saw hinted at. So you best be on the right side, which is the Most High side, and you have his word, and you should be able to see it coming to pass. And if you don't, then maybe you're not on the Most High side. That's it. Peace out. Well, family, the wait is over. The moment has arrived where truth emerges triumphant from the shadows of history. Introducing the true Jerusalem, the lost kingdoms of the Israelites. The groundbreaking work by me, Jacoby Vale, a journey into the past that reshapes the future. I cut through centuries of misconceptions with piercing clarity. This book delivers a compelling case packed with evidence that commands attention and gonna get some respect. Come with me for a second, family, and discover how these thrilling civilizations flourished, protected by towering highlands and sustained by advanced engineering. Some have asked, where is Jerusalem? Is it the land in the Middle East? I say no. It is in the highlands of Ethiopia. With hours of groundbreaking research, this book brings in a new revelation, and it will transform your understanding of African history and its connections to the ancient world. It's going to remove from your mind the conditioning by the Romans of what has really happened to our past. Come with me, family, to the Ethiopian highlands and find out why this is our land. Why things have been hidden and obfuscated for centuries. We are royalty, children of the Most High. What kind of land do you expect us to have? Dried up dirt in the Middle East, or land flowing with rivers? A land full of beautiful animals flowing with milk and honey. Don't miss out on this monumental unveiling. Grab your copy today and stand on the side of truth. Visit Amazon.com or www.tailministries.com to purchase your book and join Jacoby Vale's teachings on Tail Ministries. Family, your journey to a hidden history has now begun. So family, get your copy of True Jerusalem, The Lost Kingdoms of the Israelites today. Journey to the heart of Africa, where history and legend converge to reveal the forgotten kingdoms of the Israelites and the true location of Jerusalem.